Hello everybody! Today Truth Detective here, a book review, Sweat the Technique by RAKIM. It's an autobiography of a rapper, and what a journey and what a read it was. It's one of those rappers that I actually never listened to when I was younger, and I have never heard the songs from this guy, by the way. I just became interested in it because I wanted to find books that could help me on my rapping journey, because I write lyrics and I rap. And I believe I got some inspiration from here. And I also saw that even with this guy, even with this pro, there's so much room to be improved. And it was amazing to read how he went from just rapping to become a professional, or to become paid big money to do it. He shone a light on the music business, or at least how it used to be, and the way of performing. It was amazing to read it through kind of his own eyes. And there's a whole story in the beginning part of this book about his childhood. And he came from a musical family. In this family he played the saxophone and he had a knack for music in general. He was a musician. But I feel that when he says that he's a writer, I think he's something in between a musician and a writer. And it's great because I would want to be finding myself in a spot like that also. What I felt from my own musical experimentations is that I'm not really a musician. I have a knack for words and the visual world, which many times in music doesn't really match the way it's presented to the people. It could look better. I feel that as a rapper and as an artist, that's where I'm going to come into picture big time at some point. It was a great read. He talks about the gun culture in America. He actually shot himself on accident when he was about 12 or was it 13 years old. It's pretty an amazing story and tragic one, but he survived. And yeah, America, it's a bit different. And he talks about his own vision for rap and how he did not in the later part of his career, or I think in any part of his career, to mess with the gangster rap. I like doing gangster rap, but I'm from Finland, so Finnish gangster rap is kind of like a joke. Like, there are no serious Finnish rappers in that sense, because the culture is not in no way near as violent or drug addicted or gun prone as America. There are these problems in Finland, of course, but you couldn't write a song in the same vein as some Americans can of the gangster culture. And I think that's good. Finnish and the language of Finnish, it's a very good rapping language actually, and it's a very good language to rhyme in. And what I feel from here is that I'm kind of like looking at it, what he has done, and I'm reading into it, and I think that this is English, and I feel that English, the language of English actually has some limitations for rapping. And I found some beats actually just couple of days ago that were kind of Japanese themed. And the way they got me rhyming, and the lyrics that I wrote in Finnish, by the way, they were so much more kind of free associative and poetical, maybe, compared to the way that I write when I find some gangster rap beats or beats made in the theme of the West. And in the later part of his career, when he became a professional, he mentioned that he started to meet, these big players that produced the very famous songs, and how they were his technicians, audio engineers, or what do they call those? That other guy who sits in the studio with the rapper when the rapper is in the booth, and when the other guy is doing the mixing and the little changes probably also to the beat that have to be made. He talked about those relationships, which was really interesting, because I would really want to get into this game, because I know that I won't be the guy who does that musical, the background beat. I won't be that guy, because I know that it's not a wise move to start putting my time into making that, because there are so many good people who do that already. I feel I don't have maybe a vision to bring to that, but I have a vision to bring to the words and the rap. So that's why I do it. And it's clear that in the later part of his career, that's how he also spent his time. That's how he became dedicated to the word and to the rap, of being an artist and not the producer. And that's great. He talked about his parents in this book and how they were, well, at least his mother was musical, and how his father died in the end of cancer, how it brought a kind of a empty space and a block for his artistic career for a while, and how he still came back, maybe stronger. He talked about flying all the time and how he didn't really like it at some point, how he became kind of paranoid of flying because he flew so much. He talked about his tour in Japan. It's one of those things that when I read about biographies from writers, it's Japan that for some reason always comes to the kind of thought that the gigs they do in Japan are kind of, these artists, they remember that country much better. And when I was younger, I was really into Japanese culture, and Japan also has rappers, believe it or not. And man, I don't know if Japanese and the language of Japan, I don't know if the language of Japan is great for rhyming. But I would kind of think because the country has so long of a tradition of poetry and literature also. They have amazing writers there. I would feel that it would be really great to understand that more deeply. Because at this point in my life, if I would want to learn a language, I wouldn't want to learn a language that you couldn't rap in. There are Swedish rappers, and I don't know if Swedish is really a great rapping language. What I read from the Swedish rap culture is that it's not really up there, and I feel that Swedish, like how it sounds, it's not really a great language to rap in. You can probably get around all of this, and there are probably some like rappers who rap in the Arabic language also. I bet there are, but There's also and always that language barrier in rap. He talked about how he felt that he could connect universally through his music with even people that don't really understand his language. And that's great. But I still feel that in this YouTube game, for example, I'm coming into that barrier, and I have a plan in the future to make videos that will be titled with just one word in all the in very many languages. And no talking, no me just mumbling stuff, just maybe nature and the fashion. What I feel from fashion that is very connected to the rap game, and I feel that I have kind of a vision for this, is that in these times there were specific designers that kind of made the outfits for these guys. And it was very interesting to hear about this, because I'm so into fashion myself. He talked about his relationship to wearing suits. I think suits are actually pretty rap. If you combine suits with the right hat and the suit is the right color, imagine this hat with a red suit, like a Ferrari red suit, and that would be cool. Or some extravagant flamboyant color suit, you know. That's a great combination for rap. But I don't know if we have figured out the language of, like the visual language of rap yet. I'm gonna introduce some bling to my future rapping endeavors. And he talked about buying a chain for 10,000. I'm not like at that level. But man, it was great to read how it kind of felt to the guy when he started making money. But for him, it clearly was just kind of like, I have all this money, you know. It was not like an obsession. His obsession was artistry. And that's what I really feel from this rapper, that he had his heart in the right place through the whole time. And he talked about all the possible traps and all the possible things that could distract the artist on his path. The drugs and the culture and the people and the violence. He talked all about that, and that's my main gripe too about the whole rap stuff. It's that it's too much about degeneracy, and that's what really makes it kind of low culture. As a rapper myself, I would want to bring some higher thoughts into it. He clearly tried that, but there are rappers who achieved that so much better, but they weren't, of course, mainstream. And when I used to listen to rap music in my past, it was not really this type of rap that was released by these major labels. I never listened to that stuff by major labels. YouTube was around, so I just went through YouTube and I watched so many rapping videos, and I don't know if I learned something from that, but I bet that it influenced where I'm right now at my life. This guy started rapping when he was really young, like 12 years old. He talked about how that worked out and how he was rapping in the parks and with the DJs. And he had very much self-initiation. I mean, he had a lot of energy and push to just get himself out there. In some situations I see it the same in myself, but in some situations I saw that, you know, this guy did something when he was young that I would probably never do in my life. I would not play my cards like that. And I feel that he had it through his whole kind of beingness. And I feel that I have that in just some facets of my life, that initiation and that push to push myself out there. Yeah. Modularity. He also had a fucking mustache. I appreciate that. That was RAKIM, autobiography. Amazing read. A great writer. Well written stuff. You can tell that he was pretty good with the pen. Stay tuned for truth detective rapping for ya. When I get the copyright type of stuff under control. Yeah. From this, I kind of feel that I wouldn't want to be a performer for a lot of people. I don't really box it out that I won't ever perform for people live. But I just feel that it sounds amazing, but at the same time, there's just something in it that just isn't really me. And music is not really something I want you to even listen to and push to you. That's one of the funny things about what I do right now. I think there are better things out there than music. It's fun to create, but I would much more prefer to you to go some art gallery to look at abstract paintings, or to maybe read than listen to some ghetto banger gangster rapper like telling about his guns and his hoes and his blows and his nose and his shoes and this kind of stuff. I would much more prefer that, and that's my vision for the YouTube channel, because I have the youth in mind. And I know that this fucking rap stuff is affecting youth really in a bad manner. Yeah, Truth Detective out. There are better things out there, but it's amazing that I got to read this book. Yeah. Now let's get in front of the microphone. And as a last note, he talked about his habits and how much time he spent doing this rap. In some points, it was the only thing he did. And that's just the truth. You want to become the best, it has to be the only fucking thing. And when he went on the round, so to say, to travel the world, he had to leave his girlfriend, and she didn't really like that. I don't even have one. I don't have to worry about the opinions of close by females, and that's great. You know, I think many times they can really fuck up your path. Keep it steady and focus on what matters. For me, it's art. Art is more important than love. Art is more important than money for certain. Art is more important than many things. It's more important than having a family. You know, art for me, like artistry and creativity, that's where the life is. And that's God power. It's the small sliver of God in you. And that's what he talks about over here. And he talks about his religious stance and the funny connections to the Egyptian culture at some point. How first he was kind of a Muslim, and Then he starts to talk about the ancient religion of Kemet and this stuff that is very prone to the Illuminati. He doesn't go very much into any of that, but he talks a little bit about the frequency of 432 Hertz compared to the 440 Hertz music and the effect of it, but he doesn't make it into a conspiracy. And he was not a conspiracy rapper. No way. No way. But conspiracy rappers, I feel that they were one of the most important guys during the 2010 to maybe 2020. They were really important for many people. For me, it was really crucial that I listened to these conspiracy rappers. And I'm really glad I did, now that I look at it. The question is, do rappers want to make you into a rapper? Well, if you have it in you, it's gonna happen. At some point in your life. I wouldn't say that a rapper has to become a rapper very early in his life. I feel that you can actually grow into a rapper in so many ways. It's one of those things that has so many paths to it. Maybe it's not in any way the same as being a concert pianist, that you have to start very young, or a violinist. You can start pretty late actually if you want to be a rapper, because it's so much about who you are. It's not so much about your skill, even though skill of course plays into rap, of course, but it's about who is your being, like who you are as a person. And if you develop that and build that, at some point you might just flourish into a rapper. That's what is happening to me, I feel. And I dig that. I dig that. And I feel that it's part of my journey, like a puzzle piece. For this guy, it was the only thing. But I feel that for me, rap is kind of like a puzzle piece. I would want myself to be known as a YouTuber who raps, not as a rapper who makes YouTube videos. If a guy like this started a YouTube channel, he would be a rapper who makes YouTube. That's kind of different. Yeah. Man, it was a long stretch. Let's go and practice. Thanks for watching.